Hey y'all, it's Brady. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are brand new here, hi, hello, and welcome. And welcome to the disaster that is my home right now. Life's nuts. Okay, so I need to clean, but I also have like 25 minutes before I go get my girls from school, before I start the pickup extravaganza. And lots to update there, so there will be an update video coming very soon. If y'all haven't seen it already, I don't know what's coming first. But today is a wrap with me and chat with me. I'm doing a big subscriber Q&A. Y'all sent in some really good questions when we hit 5,000 subscribers, and so I'm going to attempt to answer those. Got them written down here, and wrap presents at the same time. So I did get one present already started, and we're just gonna keep going. So I hope the quality's okay. You can see the boxes all around me and all the stuff, and the boxes and the trash and all the stuff behind me. So ignore all of that. Let's jump into it, and let's start with question number 1. Let's go. Okay, so I've got my bows here. I've got some stuff to wrap for the kiddos, and then I'm just gonna make myself a pile here next to me on the floor. And I've tried to pull out some things that I thought were fairly simple to wrap. I don't know what that was. That hopefully I can get wrapped before I have to go get them. So fingers crossed. Okay, so question number 1, how did me and my husband meet? So my husband and I met, let me find what I'm gonna wrap here while I'm at this. My husband and I met through a mutual friend. So I actually worked with a lady named Susie, and I love her dearly. So when we met, I worked with Susie at my job, and he worked with Susie's daughter at his job. That is just barely gonna work. Let's see. He worked with Susie's daughter on the military base that he worked on close to town. Okay, you know what? We're gonna wrap something else. And so anyways, so he worked with Susie. Let me try that again. Y'all, I was talking to my friend Alia, Mama Alia. I'll leave her channel there down below if you haven't heard of her. Don't know how you haven't, but she's wonderful. But anyways, she and I were talking about how hard it is to do these wrap with me videos and try to have any semblance of conversation, because it's so distracting trying to figure out like how we're gonna wrap and do, and you know, it's just like all over the place. But I'm gonna do my best. So anyways, I worked with Susie, and Susie's daughter worked with my husband Justin, and I had made the joke. I met her daughter and at a church event I think that they were having. And yes, I remember. So I was helping Susie and her daughter Chastity and their little family at church do their vacation Bible school. And in the process of doing that, we were just talking about different things, and I was single and all of this, and I made a joke, and I said, because Chastity and her husband both are in the military, and Justin was at the time, and I'd made the joke. I was like, well, I mean, you can always find me a soldier up at work at the base. And literally, like, we were just joking in conversation, and you know, it just was a joke. And so so then, you know, a few weeks later, Susie and I saw each other every day at work. We worked like one cubicle apart. She actually trained me at that job, and so that's how I met her. And so then she was like, so Chastity, her daughter, either Chastity texted her or texted me. I don't remember who. I think she texted Susie first and was like, hey, there's this guy I work with who's also single, and I think y'all are about the same age, and you were joking about a soldier, and he's a soldier, and I was like, okay, all right. And at first I was like, nah, okay, like I was joking, Chastity, you know. But then she sent me his picture And I was like, oh, he's really cute. And then she said, well, let me just, you know, can I give him your phone number? And I was like, I think she asked me, can I give him your phone number? And I was like, well, I don't remember if I said yes or if she connected us on Facebook. I don't remember. It was either Facebook or she gave him my phone number. But if it was Facebook, it didn't take very long before we swapped phone numbers. And so then we started chatting, you know, just texting, and then he called me one day and we talked on the phone forever. And I was on my way. I'll never forget, like, one of the first real conversations where we were on the phone for a long time. I was on my way from work to Bible study, and we're like college age people. And so, but I was early because I was on the phone with him, and I didn't want to go home first because I knew I was just going to be a few more minutes and then I would need to go to Bible study. So I just went on over to the church, and I'm sitting in the church parking lot, and I'm talking to him on the phone, and he's like, you know, what are you up to? And I told him, and then we had all these big, you know, like, just talked for hours. And so then I got off the phone, and then we talked another time, and we were talking like every single day. And then one day he asked me, you know, do you want to go out on a date? And I was like, that'd be wonderful. Let's do dinner. So we did dinner, or we were going to do dinner. And so then I think we were going to go to dinner on like a Friday night. And then he called me. No, he texted me on a Monday. No, he texted me on a Tuesday, the Tuesday before that Friday, and was like, hey, do you want to go on a pre-date? I forget exactly what all he said, but I'll never forget the term pre-date, and grab coffee. And I was like, well, I love coffee. I was like, let's do coffee. So we went and we got coffee. And our pre-date turned into 2 hours talking at Starbucks before we realized, you know, like, we should probably get out of here. So we went next door to Panera and got something to eat because I had been at work all day. He had been at work all day, and we were both starving. So we got something to eat, and then we went to Panera and got something to eat there, and then hung out there for like another hour and a half. And then finally it's like 10 o'clock, and I was like, okay, like, it was like 9 something. So then we go out in the parking lot, and we're talking out there, and I was like, okay, you know, like, I should really go because we've got work in the morning. So needless to say, our pre-date turned into a date, and I'll never forget, it was kind of like the joke of like, well, you know, like, dinner's a big commitment. If we end up not really liking each other, or it doesn't really work out or something, then I'm gonna grab this other present. Then we can both just, you know, head out easily. More than nobody's committed to dinner. And then, you know, and then of course we hit it off and talked for hours, and our pre-date turned into a date. And so then we went to our real date that following Friday, and then we've pretty much been together ever since. So we spent every spare moment together, and yeah. So that's how we met. Very long-winded, like 8-minute way of telling you. And let's see, another question. I'm gonna skip that one and come back. What is my monthly budget for consumables? So I'm gonna answer this in the best way that I know how. And I'm gonna tell you what I consider. I don't even know if y'all can see me. I'm gonna tell you what I consider consumables. I'm not really sure how she meant this, you know, what all she would include in that. But I'm going to tell you what I include. So our budget was $600 a month. That was $150 a week. We did increase that to $180 a week. That includes like toilet paper, paper towels, food, toiletries, you know, deodorant, toothpaste, blah, 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 blah. I used to coupon way more than I do now. And so when we first got married, and then I had Halen and we stayed home. This is really difficult to focus on, y'all. Sorry. Anyways, so when I had Halen and stayed home, our budget was $400 a month. I couponed all the time, spent hours upon hours upon hours, and I did CVS as well, and our stores, our Kroger and our Publix doubled coupons, and we just really made that budget work. I found markdown meat and got a ton of stuff for free with coupons. And so $400 was, you know, we didn't have a ton of room for like a ton of extras, but we had everything that we needed and most of what we wanted. And then, and that included diapers and wipes and formula and all that stuff. And then, as time has gone on, so none of our stores double coupons anymore. And, you know, prices have increased, so we had increased our budget from $100 a week to $150 when we had Emmeline. And then we've stayed at that for about 3 years, and we just recently upped it to $180. Though I will say, with the pandemic and everything going on, and I will say that, like, so our budget is $180 a week, but I don't always spend the full budget. Or I didn't used to. The way I worked Sam's Club was I would then save some out of the weekly budget for a while until I had enough to go to Sam's. Well, and then on occasion we will throw in some extra money for like household stuff that we would stock up on at Sam's Club. A couple $100 every now and then. The thing that I do not count in our food or consumables budget is dog food. So normally I would have had, I really hope y'all can hear me over all this wrapping paper. Normally I would have like a really concrete answer for you. You know, it would be a flat $180 a week and no more, and everything's included in that, and you know, that's what we do. But I will say that with this pandemic, and life being weird, I've been spending kind of plus things are way more expensive since, you know, they haven't doubled coupons in a long time. So that was another reason we had to go up to $150. But, plus, you know, 2 kids and all of that. But then it got to where with this pandemic, we were like, you know, that's just not going to cut it. And we do pretty much all of our meals from home. We do eat out, and we definitely eat out more, or order food, order takeout, DoorDash, whatever, more than we ever used to, since this pandemic started. So, you know, I can kind of tell myself that that's like supporting local businesses, but we all know it's because we're overwhelmed. And so, you know, we definitely spend more now than we used to, and I'm okay with it for the time being. So we do have a plan to, you know, get our budget back on track. So that's why if you've been here for a while, you've seen a lot of fluctuations in the grocery hauls, because normally I would do like one big haul every 4 to 6 weeks and a bunch of smaller hauls in the meantime. But it's been one of those things where things were so scarce, it was like, I'm going to buy it when I can buy it. We tried buying every 2 weeks for a while, and then we were still running out of things. And so right now it's kind of all over the place. So I'm sorry that was a really long-winded answer. But that's where we're at. Everything right now is just very long-winded, and there's no real rhyme or reason to most things. That's just where we're at. Okay. What does my husband do for a living? He works at an automotive assembly plant, and that'd be a question for him, because I couldn't really tell you what he does. And his job has changed a lot since the pandemic. His hours have changed a lot, and it's just kind of all over the place. So I don't really have a good answer for that, other than he works for an automotive assembly plant here in our town. Okay, where do we live? So, I mean, honestly, I'm sure like any kind of like crazy stalker person could find where we live if they really wanted to, but I'm not going to make it easy and just like outright tell you what town we live in. So, I'm sorry. But I'm sure this person just in general probably meant like what state and area do we live in. So, obviously we live in the United States. I say obviously because it's probably pretty clear to you if you're not from the U.S. that I live in the U.S. We live in the United States, and we do live in Middle Tennessee, you know, relatively close to the Nashville area. And now all of you are just seeing this present, but it'll be out of the way in a minute. Yeah, so there's that. Let me get a bow on this. And let's see, how old are we? So I am 29, and my husband will be 32. I had to think about that for like a whole half a second. My husband will be 32 later this month. And all right, I'm gonna answer this one, then I'll come back through. So what am I in school for? So if you're not new here, then you already know I am in college part-time. It will be full-time once both girls are in school full-time. Right now, they are not. My youngest is not, at least. And anyways, so I'm in school for nursing. I'm finishing up my prereqs right now. And there is a separate video coming of an update on this semester, so be watching for that. And yeah, so I'm in school hopefully for nursing. I've applied to 2 different nursing programs for next year because I've pretty much finished all of my prereqs for my LPN or ADN RN, depending on which program I get into. I've finished my prereqs for those, other than microbiology. And so that's the plan there. And then number 2, someone also, I think, already knew the answer to that question that I was going into nursing. And so they said, am I aiming for any specialty in nursing? So I would love to be on a labor and delivery or mother-baby floor. I don't know for sure, though, where I will end up. I would be fine with ICU as well, but we'll see kind of where we end up on that. I'm definitely flexible, and we'll see where clinicals take me and who I get to know, like, you know, employer-wise and everything through clinicals, and see where I end up. How is school going? That was another question. That is going to be its own update, like I mentioned. And okay, how much time do I spend finding deals, organizing coupons or digital deals, prepping for shopping, and how do I make it seem effortless? I'm sorry if I make it seem effortless. It's not, but it's also, you can keep it very, very simple. So I follow southernsavers.com and Kroger Crazy with a K.com. And they pretty much find all the deals for me. And then I find the coupons that they tell me to go find, either printing them or finding them from a Sunday paper. And then I use them there. And then I do hunt through my own digital coupons and try to see what matches for the Kroger sales as well. I used to spend at least 15 hours a week doing all of that stuff. When I was keeping our budget really low and coupons doubled and I was like an extreme couponer. But now I would say I spend probably an hour and a half a week planning my grocery list and going through coupons and checking flyers and all of that stuff and the matchup deals on Southern Savers website. And I'll leave those websites linked down below for you too. And then, are we planning to have more children? So, no, I don't know. I will never say never, but probably not. We have talked about adopting in the future, so we'll see. But biologically, probably not. That would how do I put that delicately? It would take a whole lot of surgery to get things to do that again. So, basically, I had my tubes tied when I had Emmeline, and so there would be some finagling that would need to happen in order to make that happen. Let me see if I got all those on this front page. And I just gave up on wrapping. I'm just going to finish this for you. How do I juggle everything? School, kids, life, YouTube, etc. I don't know. I'm in a constant state of overwhelmed most of the time. I can tell you that now, especially with the pandemic. I feel like in semesters past, like fall 2019, was pretty good. Pretty good. Even though I had I had A&P1, statistics, and something else, I think. Or maybe it was just those two. And Emmeline was 2, and Halen was in kindergarten. But I felt like things were pretty calm then, and so I was handling it pretty well. I'd have days where I got overwhelmed, or, you know, there would be like a couple of days where a lot of assignments were due or tests or whatever. But 2020 has rocked my world, as I think it has everyone else on this planet. And so if you are feeling overwhelmed and you're like, how do these people do it? We're just hanging on. Okay. All right. So as long as that's clear that like there's no, I've gotten a couple like superwoman comments, y'all. Nope. Mama's in a constant state of overwhelm and we're just like going through with it. Okay. I'm going to snooze that and then try to wrap this up for y'all. Because I gotta leave and get my girls. So anyways, how do you get all of your priorities taken care of and not get overwhelmed? I got this question a lot. I get overwhelmed. We all do. It's called being human. It's real. That's what happens, y'all. So it just is what it is. I get overwhelmed. So I don't really know. 2020 is probably not the year to ask me that because I don't have any like real tips. I'm sorry. And then why did I start my YouTube channel? That's the last question on here. So I started my YouTube channel because, what is that? Oh goodness. Okay. I'm going to have a whole update video on this in a minute, and I may film it in the car for y'all, but basically like, we're distance learning again. And so that's her teacher getting in touch with me. But anyways, why did I start my YouTube channel? I started my YouTube channel because I wanted to share cooking and grocery hauls, show people how to coupon easily and keep things on a budget. The channel has morphed into, because we do some bigger hauls and things like that. And then obviously with 2020, like the budget's not totally out the window because we only have so much money. But we're definitely not like as strict as we used to be. But I also wanted it as a way to connect with other moms and other, just to share what we're doing and show people that like this is real life and that's how life works. And so my first video ever was a grocery haul from Sam's Club and Aldi, and we're still doing that. So, 2 years later, we're still kicking with that. I think my first video went up in 2018. I think so. I think it was November of 2018, or it might have been in December. We're like right at that 2-year mark. But I am so above and beyond surprised that we have made it to we're almost at 6,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up. But it just blows me away that in 2 years we have made it to that. So I have no plans of quitting any time, and certainly not anytime soon. And I am super, super excited to see what 2021 holds for this channel. Thank y'all so much for being here. Many of you, I know you as, from commenting week to week, and I love that. I love the community that we are building here, and I am so thankful to have y'all here. Without y'all watching, what would the channel be? Wouldn't really exist, would it? So thank y'all so much for joining me. Thank you for sending in questions. If you have questions you would like me to answer in another video, leave those in the description or the comment box down below. And until next time, I'll see you in the comments. Bye, y'all.